Welcome back, crafty friends. Today we are going to make a couple of cards using some of the items that came in the January 2026 Simon Says Stamp card kit or club kit. I'm going to use the Crystal Snowflake die, the larger one. I'm going to use the embossing folder, which is the embossing folder Pixie Snowflake. It's a 3D? No, it's just a regular embossing folder. And then I'm going to use the stamp set, The Small Things. And I have cut all of our pieces out. I stamped the majority of these pieces on there except for the snowflakes and the scarves. And then I used my silhouette to cut them out. So these are the extra pieces that I won't be using today. The fox, the bunny, and then the two trees. I've decided I'm not going to use those, but I am going to use the rest of the items that I cut out today. So we've got this one and this one that we're going to be using. So we're going to start with this one. This one, I used one of the pieces of paper that came with the kit, and I ran it through the embossing folder. You can kind of see some of the texture there. I did not spritz it with water first. I just ran it through I have an old Big Shot from Stampin' Up! That I use. So I just used it. I'm just going to put some glue on here. This piece is cut 5 1/4 by 4, and then this is cut 1/8 of an inch bigger on both sides, the blue piece that came with the kit. And I'm just going to try to do my best to center it on there and then push. My glue likes it if you press down on it. Try not to press too hard at where the embossing is, but it won't make it too terribly flat, which is my fingers. So, and then I'm going to use the glue on the back of here as well. Again, this glue sheet came in that same box. And then the white paper is cardstock I got off of Amazon, and this time I cut it at the 4 1/2 inch on the, or 4 1/4 inch, sorry, on the 8 1/2 inch side, and then I scored it at the 5 1/2. It's hard to see with the white card base and the white background here, so I'm going to grab my gray here really quick, just so that I can see. There we go. Must not have cut something completely straight here. Let me grab my trimmer really quick. I think I cut that blue maybe a little off. Put this in here. The glue on the back is pretty dry, so I'm not too worried about it. I'll put it in there. Yeah, it looks like it's not quite straight down there at the bottom. I'm going to put a little bit more glue on the back here. Try this again here. Much better. And again, I'm just going to press it around on all sides. I don't press in the center too much. Eventually it will grab, but... And then I'm going to use a little bit of foam tape to pop these little guys up just a little bit. This is some Doris foam tape. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and put the foam tape on all of my pieces. Should be fine. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and take the backing off. I am still going to use glue on my foam squares. And I'm gonna kind of stick the bird so it sort of looks like maybe he's on a tree. His tail hangs off a little bit there. I'm perfectly fine with that. Got the owl. Going to kind of set the owl up here so it kind of looks like it's in that tree. And take this one next. It's got all the different pieces here. I like these deers. They look like they're kind of looking at each other. So normally I would I would put the taller things to the left. I don't know why. That's just the way I usually do it. But since he's looking back, I am going to put him to the right and put the little guy to the left. So there's that. And I'm going to put him kind of almost all the way to the bottom there. And it would look cute if you had the scarves to put around them, but I did not do the scarves. I used some of the Spectrum Noir Tri-Blends to color them. I am not that great at coloring, so don't want to bore you guys with that. And then this one, I'm going to do the Find Magic in the Small Things. And I think I'm going to glue it directly down onto the embossed. So I'm just going to add some glue here. And then I'm just going to stick it right there in the center and try and make sure it is straight. I will probably put something heavy on it for a minute. Next card we're going to work on, we're going to take another piece of that blue that came with the card kit that is 5 1/4 by 4. And then I'm going to use, I did some of the Pearls Mist, and I used a variety of the Perfect Pearl Mist and the Glimmer Mist. Some of them I sprayed, some of them I actually unscrewed the top and let droplets on there. That's why some of them are bigger drops. On the blue ones, you can't really tell on here, but I then, with the bigger drops, took a paintbrush and kind of pulled it through there. I don't have one of those tools that you can blow on and it disperses it wherever, so that's why I did it that way. These were, it was a 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 sheet of paper that I did this on, so I have some pieces that I have cut, so I'm going to glue these onto either side here, and then I will take the two bigger ones and put them in the center and then chop them off as well. So I'm going to go ahead and put glue on here. I'm going to use on my mat just because I'm going to probably have glue in places that I don't need it. Scoot that over just a little bit. Make sure that I have it up to the top there. Use my towel here to get that off. Then I'm going to take this one and put it down in this corner, and then these two will go in the upper spots. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this down here, and again I'm going to keep it on the gray mat because I know I'm gluing over where I actually need to be. So I'm going to put that down on there like that, and then I'm going to come back and chop off what we don't need. So then I'm going to put this one and this one. And I may have more that I can use to fill in the spots once I chop it off. But I did run these through on the embossing folder as well. Tried to do the center of the embossing, or the center of the snowflake on the center of these snowflakes. Some of them are centered, some of them are not, so I'm not too terribly worried about it. We're going to grab this one and do the same thing with it. to glue it down there. I'm going to use my rag to push down. This is just a microfiber towel that I got from in a package from Lowe's, I believe. And then I'm going to pull this up. I've got a pair of bigger scissors here that I'm just going to trim up the side. You could put it back in your paper trimmer if you wanted to. I'm just going to use the scissors. There's a little bit right there. I did not get that. I'm then going to take this and glue it down onto a card base. You can see I have glue on the back of it already. I started to glue it down and then remembered that I needed to do the snowflakes and trim the snowflakes, so that's why I pulled it off. If you would have glued it on first, you could have easily taken a knife blade and cut the edges off of the snowflakes. Would not have been a big deal. So same card base as the previous one. It's a cut at 4 1/4 and then scored at 5 1/2. And then the blue base, like I said, is a 5 1/4 by 4. Since it is the entire base and we don't have a layering piece on top of it, that's why. That looks crooked, but we're going to go with it. And again, mine likes to be pressed down. And then this time we're going to just use the warm birthday wishes here that came in the kit as well, and I'm just going to stick it right there in the center between those two snowflakes on that blue. So right there, trying to make it centered. And then this kit did come with some of these Simon Says Stamp Prism Positively Dazzling Gems. So I'm going to use a couple of these. Around my card here. Just to give it a little bit of shine. I'm just going to use 3, and they're all 3 different sizes. And then I'm just going to do a little dollop of glue, dollop of glue, dollop of glue, and that snowflake, I don't know if I'll be able to fix it or not, was a little crooked there, so I'm going to fix it while I'm here. Grab that smallest one. Put that up. Alright, there are the 2 cards that we made today using the Simon Says Stamp January 2026 Club Kit. So hopefully you guys enjoy. Hopefully it's some different ideas for you compared to maybe what some of the other individuals are doing, and I'd love to see what you guys create. So until next time, go out there and create something. Bye!